This is Denise Matthew, and today I'm going to make a wire wrapped heart-shaped ring. And I've got a few just rings that I've already done just to show you what they look like. I've got a couple done in copper, I have one done in silver, and I also have one that I've added beads to that you can dress it up, and I'll show you that variation after I do the main ring. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take about 6 to 8 inches of wire, and this is about 16 gauge. Now you can use a lighter wire, but again, if you do, it's gonna be a lighter looking ring. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just hammer this out flat, and that's just gonna help the curl come a little bit better that we're gonna start with. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to basically just roll in a curl. That's all I'm going to do. Simple as that. Okay, and once the curl's rolled in, I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Now the only rule about this curl, or this loop that you begin with, is that this wire that you're working with should be able to fit through. Okay, so if it fits through, then it's big enough. Okay. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my fingers for this. I'm just going to bend it up, and this is 1/2 of your heart. Okay, so there we are there. I'm going to turn around, and again I'm just going to use my fingers, and this is our middle, and I basically just took the wire up and around like that. Now I can make that a little smaller if I want, just reduce the size. Okay, alright, now we're there, and I'm just going to finish my heart. Okay, see what I like about if it suits to me. This is the time you can adjust the size of it. Press down the wire a little bit, and then I'm going to hold my heart with my fingers because this is still fairly soft, and if I don't hold it, it will move out of place. So I'm just going to thread my wire right through that original loop. Okay, right through, and I'm going to pull it through, but don't pull too hard because it will pull your heart out of shape too. Alright, now my heart came out of shape, but that's alright, I can still reshape it. Again, I'm using a lot with, doing a lot of this with my fingers, and some people might prefer to use pliers more, but it's really whatever you feel gives you the best method. Okay, now that I have my heart, I'm going to finish that ring, and this is how I'm going to size it. I'm going to go one size smaller than what I want. So for usually the opposite. Usually you go one size larger and it will reduce. But because of the shape of this ring, I found that one size smaller is better. Okay, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to push this against the mandrel at size 6 because I want to make a size 7 ring. Okay, I'm going to push it, and I'm going to pull this right around, and I'm going to thread my wire right through. Okay, alright, I'm going to pull that right through, use my, and you notice you want to push that down because that's going to go against your finger. Okay, now we're still at 6. The wire is not straight, but that's all right. We have time to do something with that. Okay, now I can remove it from the mandrel, and I'm just going to cut some away because really all I want to do is one loop. So I'm just going to use my chain nose pliers, and we're going to harden this up so that it's not going to move out of place. And if you notice, I'm just rolling it under. Now you can do as many wraps as you like. It's really your choice, just as long as it's stabilizing your ring. Alright, you still have some room to adjust it now. Okay, and I'm going to slide it back on. Okay, and this is where we're going to start shaping it. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm starting to harden that up, and I'm shaping it because I want a size 7 ring. So I'm going to take that right down. Okay, and it's still coming along. And I'm going to take it right down to size 7. We're almost there. Now, this is where I'm going to start hardening my wire. Pull this loop out a bit because that's sort of moved as we were moving. Okay. Again, we want to push it against the mandrel. And now I'm just going to flatten it. Then, and all this hammering is actually going to be making your wire, your ring get a little bigger. And so that's why I wanted something a little smaller so that I could make it bigger and not end up with a huge ring that just doesn't fit anybody's finger. Okay? So now I'm just hardening it all up. Okay. Now we have our ring, and that's, if you notice, it was a size 7. Okay? Now we're at a size 7. Okay? Now the last little bit would be taking our hammering block again. And if this is out of shape or anything like that, if it's become, well, it's actually it kept its shape pretty well, but the last little bit, just to bring it back into shape, would be to do that, and you're doing a little more wire hardening, okay? And at this point, if you really want to adjust, it's not really suggested because you've already sized your ring and everything, but if you really want to adjust, you might have to put it back on the ring mandrel. But pretty much, you have your ring. Wire here, you can go 24, 26, 28 gauge wire, whatever you want, because sometimes you want to use a gemstone bead and a 24 may not be able to fit through. So basically whatever you have on hand will work. So now I have some just some about 4mm crystals, and you may not normally pick this color combination, but for your ability to see, I wanted to have a good contrast. Okay, so basically I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to have a little tail, and that's only really for me to be able to hold on to it, and I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to start at this end. You can start at the other end too. It doesn't really make a difference because ultimately I'm going to do both sides at separate sides. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this 5 times. And this is basically just stabilizing the wire on my ring. Now that I have 5 wraps, okay, I'm just going to slide a bead under on it. Okay, I'm going to bring that up like that. You can adjust these beads as you go, so if it's not exactly in the same position that you want it, you can always adjust it, but don't put it underneath the wire. You really need to bring it up on top of the wire. Okay, so now in between I'm going to do 3 wraps. So that's 1, 2, now for a more delicate look you can use a finer wire like I said, but this is what I have for copper. Okay, and now I'm going to pick up another bead, slide that on, bring it up. Okay, and again, 1. Make sure when you're putting the wire around, wrapping it around, that you're holding your bead in place because it will definitely move. Okay, that's 2, and we're going to 3. And the amount of beads you're going to need is really going to be according to how big the beads are and how big your ring is. So really it's something you'll have to judge for yourself. Okay, and I'm going to put 1 more, and then I'm going to come back after I show you this one. So it's actually got a really cool look. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. And I will come back and show you how to start the other end. My suggestion is, not to put beads through here because you do kind of want that definition there, but it's up to you. If you prefer to do it all the way through, you can. So now I'm just going to trim my wire, and later on tuck all those wires in to make sure that they're good. File down anything that's too sharp, especially with a ring. Okay, now I'm going to start on the other side. Okay, and I'm going to trim that other tail too. It doesn't need it. Okay, now I'm going to start exactly the same way with the 5 wraps. And again, you can slide it down once you have your 5 wraps. It's kind of cool though. It gives it sort of a three-dimensional look. And I really like the texturing of the hammering too, but got the 5 to start it, and then I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to slide another bead on. And I'm going to angle it this way. Okay. That way I'm going to be wrapping like I did on the other side. Okay. And I'm going to do the 3 in between. Okay. And I'll do a few more of these and come back. Okay, and now I've wrapped that all up the side. I do have equal amounts of beads on both sides, but if you notice there's that part that it doesn't have any beads. If you wanted to put beads you could, but I like just the look as it is. And now I'm just going to push these beads up a little bit just to give it sort of a three-dimensional look. And I mean that is a way to dress it up. Again, if you just want to keep it plain, you can do it with that. So I hope you enjoy this video. Like if you like it, please, and share if you think it's worth sharing, and we will see you next time. Thank you for coming. Bye.